Have you ever stood in the checkout line, glanced at your grocery receipt, and thought, how is this even possible? If so, you're definitely not alone. More and more people are experiencing sticker shock every time they shop for groceries. It's not just a feeling, it's a reality that's hitting households across the country. Across the US, food prices are skyrocketing at a pace we haven't seen in decades. Families everywhere are feeling the pinch, and for many, the weekly grocery run has become a source of stress and anxiety. The cost of putting food on the table is rising faster than most paychecks, and it's forcing people to make tough choices about what they can afford. Even the most basic items, eggs, milk, bread, have seen dramatic price jumps compared to just a year ago. What used to be affordable staples are now luxury items for some families. It's not just about splurging on treats, it's about struggling to afford the essentials that everyone needs to get by. This isn't just a minor inconvenience or a small uptick in prices, it's a financial earthquake that's shaking the foundation of millions of households. People are cutting back, skipping meals, or turning to food banks for help. The impact is real and it's growing every day. But here's the thing, this crisis isn't hitting every state the same way. The pain of rising grocery bills is being felt unevenly across the country, with some areas suffering much more than others. In some states, shoppers are able to fill their carts without breaking the bank, while in others, people are walking away with just a few items for the same amount of money. The difference can be staggering, and it all depends on where you live. Depending on your location, your grocery bill could be double or even triple what someone else pays in another part of the country for the exact same items. It's a frustrating reality that's leaving many people wondering why they're paying so much more. To get to the bottom of this, we've dug deep into the data, analyzing food prices, inflation rates, and cost of living statistics from coast to coast. We wanted to find out exactly where this problem is hitting the hardest and why, and what we found might surprise you. Some of the states facing the steepest grocery bills aren't the ones you'd expect. The reasons behind these price differences are complex, involving everything from transportation costs to local taxes and supply chain issues. So, is your state one of the hardest hit by this massive food price crisis? We're about to count down the top 10 states where grocery shopping has become a true nightmare for residents. We'll break down the reasons behind these soaring prices, share real stories from people living through it, and explain how it's affecting families, communities, and local economies. You'll hear firsthand how people are coping, and what experts say might happen next. Stick with me, because what we've uncovered is truly shocking. The numbers, the stories, and the impact are bigger than you might think. Let's dive into the 10 states where shoppers are struggling the most to keep up with rising food costs. These are the places where every trip to the store feels like a battle, and every dollar counts more than ever. Stay tuned to see if your state made the list, and to find out what you can do to protect your wallet in these challenging times. At number 10, we have California, known for Hollywood and beaches, but for many, it's a battle against high prices. The cost of living is high, and food prices are soaring. Supply chain issues and high gas prices drive up costs. Droughts and water shortages make farming expensive. Families face tough choices: rent or groceries? We saw eggs priced at nearly $10 in Los Angeles. The dream of living in California is becoming a financial nightmare. On number 9 is New York. Known as the Empire State, New York is often seen as a land of opportunity. But for many residents, it's become a place of daily struggle, especially when it comes to putting food on the table. The challenges here go far beyond the bright lights of Manhattan. Beyond Manhattan, the entire state feels the squeeze. From the bustling suburbs of Long Island to the quiet towns upstate, families everywhere are feeling the pinch of rising costs. Even in rural areas where you might expect food to be more affordable, prices are climbing at an alarming rate. High food prices in NYC ripple across the state. When costs go up in the city, suppliers and distributors pass those increases along to every corner of New York, making it harder for everyone to afford basic groceries. Getting food into dense urban areas is costly. Delivery trucks must navigate endless traffic jams, narrow streets, and strict parking regulations, all of which drive up the price of every loaf of bread and carton of milk. Traffic, high rents, and inefficiencies add to the expense. Store owners face sky-high rents and utility bills, and many are forced to close their doors, leaving neighborhoods with fewer options and even higher prices at the stores that remain. Inflation hits hard, with prices jumping significantly. Over the past year, the cost of staples like eggs, milk, and bread has soared, putting even more pressure on families who are already struggling to make ends meet. Families on tight budgets are devastated. Many are forced to make impossible choices, cutting back on meals, skipping fresh produce, or relying on food banks just to get by. A single mom in the Bronx showed us her shocking grocery receipts. She's paying nearly double what she did just a couple of years ago, and every trip to the store is a source of anxiety. Fresh fruit is now a rare luxury for her kids. What used to be a simple treat, an apple or a bunch of grapes, has become something they can only have on special occasions, if at all. Supply chain disruptions hit densely populated areas hard. When trucks are delayed or shipments are missed, shelves empty out quickly, leaving shoppers scrambling for whatever is left. Winter storms or trucking issues empty shelves fast. Just one snowstorm can bring the entire system to a halt, and it can take days for stores to restock even the most basic items. It's a fragile system under immense pressure. Every link in the chain is stretched thin, and it doesn't take much to push it to the breaking point. New Yorkers pay the price at checkout. Each visit to the grocery store is a reminder of how much harder it's become to feed a family in this city and state. The struggle is real and ongoing. For millions of New Yorkers, the dream of a better life is overshadowed by the daily reality of rising costs, empty shelves, and tough choices at the dinner table. At number 8, Texas faces unique challenges. The state's size means transportation is key. Long truck journeys and high fuel costs raise prices. Extreme weather like droughts devastates agriculture. Ranchers face high feed costs, driving up beef prices. We saw dry fields and struggling ranchers near Austin. Less beef means higher prices at the store. Texas families find backyard barbecues a luxury. The state's identity is tied to ranching, but it's now a crisis. At number 7, Florida faces volatile food prices. Geography and hurricanes disrupt supply chains. Limited routes for trucks create backlogs. Hurricanes cause economic chaos, wiping out crops. Post-storm, roads and ports are blocked, creating shortages. Prices jump dramatically, making budgeting impossible. Families live with constant uncertainty. It's a state of anxiety driven by weather and fragile supply lines. Millions struggle to make ends meet. Number 6 is Illinois, facing a tough squeeze. High inflation and taxes stretch paychecks thin. Families in Chicago say groceries are their biggest expense. Job losses add to the economic strain. In rural areas, food deserts force long drives for groceries. Wages lag behind inflation, creating a slow-motion crisis. The struggle is real, grinding people down daily. It's a devastating reality for many Illinois families. At number 5, Georgia's gap between rich and poor widens. Inflation makes food unaffordable for low-income families. Food banks report doubled demand. Rising housing costs leave less for groceries. Families choose between rent and nutritious food. Georgia's agriculture doesn't lower local prices. It's a tale of two states, prosperity and struggle. The American dream feels distant for many. Number 4 is Arizona, where climate impacts food prices. Extreme heat and drought strain agriculture. Water from the Colorado River is drying up. Farmers face water cuts, reducing crop yields. Less lettuce means higher prices. Heat waves stress crops, workers, and transport. A farmer near Yuma faces losing his land. Phoenix and Tucson residents find fresh vegetables costly. Water costs add to living expenses. Arizona's crisis is a climate change preview. It's a slow-motion disaster under the desert sun. Number 3 on our list is Nevada, a state famous for its dazzling lights, world-class entertainment, and bustling casinos. But beneath the surface, tourism here has a surprising and significant impact on food prices for everyday residents. The constant influx of tourists in Las Vegas puts immense pressure on local supply chains. Every day, thousands of visitors flock to the city, and the demand for food skyrockets, stretching resources thin for everyone. Hotels and casinos, in their quest to keep guests satisfied, purchase massive quantities of food in bulk. This large-scale buying power drives up prices, making it harder for local families to afford basic groceries. Almost all of Nevada's food is trucked in from out of state, since the desert climate makes local farming difficult. These long journeys add transportation costs, which are passed directly onto consumers at the checkout. For the many low-wage workers who keep the city running, housekeepers, cooks, and casino staff, these high food prices are a daily struggle. Their paychecks often don't stretch far enough to cover the basics. Ironically, these workers serve gourmet meals to tourists every day, yet many can't afford to fill their own refrigerators at home. The contrast between the luxury they provide and their own reality is stark. Step into a supermarket near the Strip, and you'll see price tags that can make your jaw drop. Everyday items like milk, eggs, and bread cost far more than the national average. As a result, many full-time workers rely on food stamps and government assistance just to get by, despite working long hours in the city's booming hospitality industry. It's a hidden struggle that plays out in the shadows of the neon lights and luxury resorts, a reality most tourists never see. For countless families, simply affording to live in Nevada feels like a losing bet, as they juggle bills and stretch every dollar to make ends meet. In the end, the odds are truly stacked against them, making Nevada's glittering promise a tough gamble for those who call it home. At number 2, Michigan faces economic challenges. The decline of the auto industry left scars. Inflation wipes out wage gains. A former auto worker struggles with 2 jobs. Access to fresh food is limited and costly. Reliance on fast food harms health. Michigan's resilience is tested. It's about feeding families, not just jobs. The struggle is visible in grocery aisles. It's a quiet desperation across the state. Number 1 is Pennsylvania, the epicenter of the crisis. Urban supply issues and job losses hit hard. Rising costs crush family budgets. Economic scars from lost industries remain. Families barely getting by are now falling behind. A mother skips meals for her kids. The struggle is a daily reality for millions. Pennsylvania tops the list in food price crisis. There you have it, 10 states in crisis. Millions struggle to afford food, a basic necessity. This is a human issue, not political. Personal stories reveal the crisis's impact, from Arizona's droughts to Pennsylvania's economic scars. You're not alone in this struggle. Share your experiences in the comments. Let's support each other through this.